Nathaniel, good afternoon, good evening. How are you?
Good evening, John. How are you doing?
Fantastic. It's preseason football, just a few weeks away from the season starting. Best time of the year.
Yeah. Do you think it's the Eagles' year this year?
I think they have a lot of talent, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Uh, so it's going to all be about how Jalen Hurts performs. He's got to step up a level from last year. If he can do that, uh, they should be able to score a lot of points. I don't think, although defense does matter, it may not matter that much if you're scoring, 35 to 38 points a game.
Exactly. You're welcome. Okay, well, guys, before this show starts, let me introduce who we have on here. We will introduce the surprise guest, John Bucci. He was the starting center for Rutgers from 1975 to 1978. He's in the Rutgers Football Hall of Fame. Am I right?
That's correct.
Okay, great.
Just to clarify for everybody at home, I was part of the 1976 team that went undefeated. We had an 18-game winning streak, and our whole team actually was inducted to the Hall of Fame, and that was a very proud moment, and it was good to see all my teammates then. So, yes, thank you.
Okay. Oh, shoot. And I forgot to mention, he was the captain of his team, and his coach he was under was Frank Burns, and
That is correct.
won the Garden State Bull Ring in 1978.
That is
Right?
correct. Very good. That's right.
Okay. Whew. Okay. And a diehard Eagles fan. Well, John, before we hop into this show, I'll let you talk about yourself for a bit. And how did you think about Rutgers when you were in that facility?
Well, Rutgers was a great experience for me. I loved every minute of it. I had no regrets with the choice I made. I was on very successful teams throughout my 4 years. Like I mentioned, the 76 team undefeated. Junior and senior year, we had, massive winning records. And, of course, senior year, we went to the Garden State Bowl, an inaugural ball that was put in. We played Arizona State. It was a good game. It was a tough game. Unfortunately, we did come out on the short end of that game, 33-18, but it was a great experience. Loved Rutgers, and it was a great experience.
Okay, thanks, John. Okay, well, for you guys who joined early, we're going to review your comments. I'm going to post them, and then John is going to read them. We sorted out positions, so he might have O-line, I might have D-line. So we're going to go through that. Like, he specializes in O-line, and he knows a lot more about D-line than me. I might know more about quarterbacks and running backs. But so specific, so we can get to questions like that. Okay, ready? First comment from Charles Wilson.
So Charles Wilson, and Charles is an old teammate of mine from high school, one of my best friends. We call him the Chief. Chief, thanks for joining in and asking a question. It's a good one. Well, Mekhi Becton, who was signed as an offensive tackle, start this season at guard over the currently injured Tyler Steen. So, Chief, as it just so happens, from the reporting I'm getting from PhillyVoice.com through Jim Kempski and Elliot Shore Parks at WISP, it looks like Becton has won the starting job. Steen, you're right. He was injured. He hurt his ankle. That didn't help him at all in that battle. So at this point in time, looks like Becton will be the starting offensive guard. He's a big man, Becton, for a guard. I think he's 6'6", probably 370. He's huge. He might be too big for a guard, but we'll see what happens at that position. But let me just, Nathaniel, if you don't mind, I'll just off of Charlie's question, I'll just dovetail kind of into the offensive line situation.
Okay, that's fair.
And of course, offensive line is the key group for any football team, especially offense. Makes everything go. And there's a little bit of a turnover for the Eagles this year with their soon-to-be Hall of Fame center, Kelsey leaving, going retired. He was the lifeblood of the offensive line last year, unparalleled player. But unfortunately, he retired, and these things happen. I'm very confident that Cam Jurgens will step in. He's not going to be Jason Kelsey from the get-go, but he could step in. Jurgens is a natural center. He played guard last year. It started. He did a great job. And everybody knows this because it was said that Kelsey actually recruited Jurgens through the scouting department of the Eagles because he felt Jurgens had the same kind of traits and physicality and athleticism that he himself had. So it'll be interesting to see how that develops. Other than that, we already touched on Becton and Steen. The offensive line is otherwise pretty much set. We've got Jordan Mailata at left tackle, Landon Dickerson at left guard, and then Lane Johnson, the perennial all-pro right tackle, still holding down that position. So should be a good unit again this year.
Thanks, John. This is a bit off topic, but what do you think about the Eagles playing in Brazil week 1? And what do you think will happen with the season ticket holders since it's counting as an Eagles home game?
Well, I'm going to go on the record as saying I don't like it. I don't understand it.
I would agree.
I know the NFL is trying to make it a worldwide game. Brazil, come on. And you bring up a good point. It's actually a home game for the Eagles. So now your question is what happens if you're an Eagle season ticket holder and your first game? Yeah, if you want to go to Brazil, you have a seat. But I'm going to say 99% of season ticket holders aren't going to Brazil. So honestly, I don't know what happens to their ticket, how it's going to be handled by, the Eagles front office. So we'll just have to watch to find out and see.
Because when you're buying tickets, I would think so. Like when you try buying season tickets, half of the stadium is sold out, right? Like the
whole stadium is sold out.
So do you think that this Brazil stadium will be empty and season ticket holders will get like a portion of money back if they're not?
I tell you what, I personally don't like the Brazil game and I would not go, but believe me, there are thousands of Eagles fans who are going to Brazil. I can tell you that right now. And, I'm going to guess that just the curiosity of the Brazilian population who has some familiarity with football is going to go to the game. They're going to probably give them free tickets. They're probably going to give them promotions to fill the stadium up because NFL is not going to telecast a game where the stadium's half empty. That's not going to happen. So it'll be full.
Okay. Thanks for that. John, can you answer Mark's question? I think
Mark, another good friend of mine from college. Mark Campanella, thanks for checking in, buddy. Who will take over this is Mark's question. Who will take over as team leader since Kelsey and Cox are retired? So let's go with the offense first. Kelsey leaves a void in that department. I'm going to think Lane Johnson will step up as a team leader. But I also think there's one guy that needs to step up as a team leader and is usually the natural leader of the offense, and that would be Jalen Hurts. And I know he's been criticized in the past because of his personality. He's a little different. He's quiet. But as a quarterback, he's the natural leader. He's a veteran at this point, in my opinion. He needs to understand his role, and it's time for him to step up to be one of the leaders in offense. But going to defense, Fletcher Cox, by the way, was a great defensive tackle. I thought that he was losing it the last couple of years, but last year he probably had one of his best years ever. So I respect Fletcher Cox. But on defense, you still got Brandon Graham, the old war horse there as an edge rusher, as a leader. I would say Darius Slay, big play Slay as a leader. I think he was a captain last year, but he like all defensive backs are a little quirky. So maybe some time for some of these young guys to step up, like a Jalen Carter, or even maybe he's got to get on the field a little more as Nakobe Dean. We'll see. That'll be a developing story there.
Okay. This is going. You know what? Let's do all the questions first, then we can get
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah, I like it.
Ivanhoe Higgins. I don't.
Ivanhoe Higgins, that's a great name. I suspect that this is one of my buddies from Rutgers coming in with a fake name. It's pretty good. How big of an impact is Saquon Barkley going to have on the Eagles offense? We lost Nathaniel from the feed. But Mr. Ivanhoe, obviously, he's going to have a big impact. He is a premier back. He
You
is
know what?
an elite running back.
I'll take this stuff.
Yeah, you're the running back, coach.
I'm the running back guy.
God,
You know
I'll
what?
shut up.
Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You.
How big of an impact is Saquon Barkley going to have on the Eagles' offense? It's a funny question because the Eagles, it all depends on the O-line. If the O-line's healthy, like I'm going to bring it back to, I think, 2021 when Carson Wentz, they were saying he wasn't having a good season, but his entire O-line could not save him. That's what's going to happen between Jalen Hurts, too. Like last season, when he was in the pocket, he didn't trust it. I don't think he wanted to become another Carson Wentz. Because Wentz completely trusted his pocket and what's happening there. That's why he got sacked a bunch of times, but he trusted the O-line, and he stood in the pocket. That's what I liked about Wentz. That was one of his good things. So if the O-line's healthy, that'll depend. I think Saquon's going to come in better because I think he's healthy, and he's ready for this new team.
Well, I think, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I do think the key is for him to stay healthy. I know he's been banged up a little bit for the Giants the last couple of years.
Banged up from being a Giant.
Yeah, because he was running behind a terrible offensive line. So this should be a pleasure for him.
Big upgrade. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, if there was a question that said, do you think Saquon will have a 1,000-yard season? I would believe so if he's healthy the entire season. So, what big of an impact the Eagles offense? I think there's going to be some impact, but not as much. Well, of course, as Jalen Hurts, but I think he's going to have a big impact, but not as big as some other positions. Like a team, everybody works together, so it's not all him. He's going to have a big impact, though. He'll be good. Okay, John.
I agree. Sorry, I'm looking at this question. You want to do the next question from Ivanhoe?
Okay.
Who's the greatest Eagle of all time?
I'll let you take that one.
Okay, that's a very, very tough question because the Eagles have a long and storied history, and I'm thinking of somebody. And since I'm getting old, his name has escaped me. Played running back in the 40s. Anyway, I'm going to go with Chuck Bednarik. Chuck Bednarik, Concrete Charlie, center, middle linebacker, brought home the Eagles NFL championship in 1960 by beating the Vince Lombardi Green Bay Packers. So that's my choice right there. Concrete Charlie, Chuck Bednarik.
Well, I'm a bit younger, so I'm not.
Go ahead, give me the young person view of.
I'm not too good at knowing your 1940s guys. It's okay. I was gonna go with someone a bit newer. 1 second.
Hey Nathaniel, we're getting a lot of questions, man. We need to start plowing through these.
Well, when they come, like we're just gonna knock 4 out.
No, I know, but I'm looking at the comments and.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, we'll keep up on them. Then we'll get to the positions. Yeah, I'll get to them. Okay. My greatest choice of an Eagle would be Reggie White. I think he's a really good rusher. I don't think anybody could stop him, and it was tragic what happened to his life just then. Really bad. I think.
What was that? I'm sorry.
Or Tommy McDonald. I think he It was really
Yeah,
good.
Tommy McDonald's a good choice.
You know what, John? I think you have his autograph.
Tommy McDonald?
Yeah, I gave you one of his cards.
That's true. You did. Yes, you did.
Okay, next question. Will Saquon's ego get in the way of the Eagles winning? You know what? Saquon doesn't have any ego. I don't believe.
Ooh,
You think he has an ego?
no, I don't.
I think he's a humble guy that is happy that the Eagles picked him. He went to college in Penn State, a Philly school, so I think he's been waiting for this to happen.
I agree. I think he's excited. He's thrilled. He's going to have a good year if he doesn't get hurt.
Okay, next question. The John Bucci. Yes, the John Bucci.
There he is. Yeah,
19.
76, a good year. Yes, it was.
Frankly.
Okay. Oh, here we go. Ivanhoe. we can both weigh in on this one.
You know what? I think we'll answer that question at the end of the show. We'll answer it at the end of the
All
show.
right, Ivanhoe. I hope you're still here at the end of the show. We'll answer that question for you.
Okay. You know what? I was just talking about this topic, Charles. Will the Eagles bring back Hassan Reddick for the Jets? I don't think they will, because that's the whole reason why they left him, because he wants out of every team and he needs money, and they don't have that money to sign him to a big, large contract. That's exactly why they traded him.
I have to agree with you. There's no way he comes back to the Eagles. They read the situation perfectly. They knew that he wanted a new contract. They weren't going to give him to him. I thought he was a great player. I thought he was a great edge rusher, put the pressure on the quarterback. You know, his age is a factor. He's 31. Eagles, I think, made a business decision. And, bye-bye, Hassan. We're not going to see you again.
Yeah, we don't need you, Hassan. Did you hear that the Eagles kind of knew that Hassan Reddick was going to do the same situation and that type of thing? Like, oh, I want to get traded. I'm not going to come to training camp. Did you?
Agreed.
They kind of knew it.
I agree. That's why they traded him.
Okay. We're going to go next question.
Another good friend of mine, Tim Grogan from Rutgers.
Grogan.
So he says, good to hear from Ivanhoe. But tell us what you believe is missing in the Eagles roster this year. Where are the weaknesses? Well, I'll go first. If I had to pick a weakness, I'd say linebacker. And it's been a perennial weakness for the Eagles.
You think sorry to interrupt. Do you think them picking up Devin White or signing Devin White is still bad?
Well, no. Now, Devin White is an interesting subject because while he had a great 2 or 3 years at the beginning of his career, he basically was on the bench for the last year and a half for the Buccaneers. So something's going on there. I hope he becomes the Devin White he was 2 or 3 years ago. That would be good. Evan Bourne, I'll be honest with you, I never heard of the guy. Apparently,
I've never heard of him either.
Zach Bourne. Never heard of him. I have no idea where they got him from. What I hear, he's having a good camp, whatever that means. Who knows? I tell you, and all my weaknesses, by the way, Tim, I'm focusing on the defense because I think that's where the weaknesses are. Defensive back, I think, will initially be a weakness because there are some possible first or second year players that'll be a quarterback, maybe a rookie starting at quarterback, maybe another rookie as a slot corner. So there'll be a lot of new blood there without experience. Good athleticism, good speed, but it'll be a learning experience. So that could actually be a weakness also for this defense.
Okay. I would say good to hear from Ivanhoe. The missing spot. Yeah. Good to hear from you, Ivanhoe. But who do you think Ivanhoe is?
So Ivanhoe Higgins, I believe, is also a good friend of mine from Rutgers. Matter of fact, a great running back, Hall of Fame running back, Glenn Kaler. Guy, he was interesting because every year at camp, we didn't even have our first practice, and he already had a injured hamstring and missed the whole friggin' camp. But he was a game player. He came out into the game and played, and I always respect him for that.
Okay. You still really didn't get into who Ivanhoe. He was a running back on Rutgers.
Yeah, his real name is Glenn Kaler. Ivanhoe Higgins is a fake name that he's using. It was a name. I'm not going to go into it here. Let's leave it alone.
You know what? We'll talk about it later. How about that? Okay. Okay. So the weaknesses. I think the biggest weakness, in my opinion, is the wide receiver 3. They have AJ and they have Devonta. Who's the third guy? Who? I think they tried having Pascal last year. They tried having these guys. They didn't show up.
So, wide receiver 3, that's actually a very good point. It is a weakness. I read something today. I was reading something today where they said Eagles need to make a trade for a wide receiver.
You know what?
I don't know if that's true or not, but here's who you got. Here's your Nathaniel. Here's who you have as your wide receiver 3s. Paris Campbell and Britton Covey. What do you think about Britton Covey?
Covey, you know what? I think the Eagles are going to put him on special teams. I know they saw him play when they were getting blown out to the Giants week 17, but I don't think so.
You got John Ross, who's a speedster, right? I think.
Yeah, John Ross ran, I think, the fastest 40-yard the fastest 40-yard dash in NFL history at the combine.
I lost you. Where'd you go? Well, for some reason, Nathaniel has disappeared. I don't know if you guys can still hear me out there. We have a technical difficulty.
Okay, we're back.
Technical difficulty. We were hacked. Just like President Trump's website.
Okay.
All right, so I think we covered the weaknesses. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we did. I think we're gonna go to the next question because we gotta go a bit quicker so I can cover my topics. Then, guys, feel free. Chat anything in the chat about the Eagles, what you think you want to happen. I was happy to hear about the weaknesses and who should they bring back, what trade should happen. Yeah, that was good. Okay. Charles Wilson. Chuck.
Yeah. Shout out to Bednarik.
Was Bednarik's hit on Frank Gifford a cheap shot?
Absolutely not. This sounds like it's coming from somebody who's some kind of Giant fan, thinking that it was a cheap shot. No. Chuck made a good solid hit. Frank, he just got caught in an awkward position, and that's the game of football. Sorry. To Ivanhoe's point, what makes that look like a cheap hit was a picture that was taken right after he put Bednarik down, where Chuck was like kind of jumping up and down with his fist in the air, and he wasn't. He wasn't mocking Gifford. It just was. He made the tackle. He didn't know he was hurt. So, no, thank you.
Okay. You know what? I think I've seen that photo. Or did you hear of one of the times when the Giants tried, I think, spiking it or something, or kneeing it back, or doing? We had a little interference really quickly. Okay. So, yeah. Did you hear when they were up, then they were just trying to waste time, but then something got fumbled, like giving it to the
the Miracle in the Meadowlands one, Herm Edwards?
Yes.
Scooping up Pisarcik, fumbled a Zonka?
Yeah, Larry Zonka.
The greatest thing of all time. That's why now at the end of games, you see offenses going to that kind of protective thing where they have, two backs by the quarterback and a guy deep and all that. That play that Herm Edwards made, the Eagles defense made, against the Giants is the reason that the teams do that now.
The Eagles
Okay.
are friends, just like the tush push, brotherly shove. To get into that, do you think that they'll do that this season without Jason Kelce?
You know what? I think they will. With Saquon back there, maybe they don't have to, but yeah, they'll use it. I think maybe not as much.
Okay, yeah. Okay, John, I'll give you this next question from Tim Grogan.
Again, Tim Grogan.
It's highlighted on the screen.
Tim says, good call on Chuck. Could have gone Joe Scarpati. My friend Groves there's a ex-South Jersey guy, big Eagle fan when he was a kid. Knows a lot of these Eagle, players. So Scarpati, not great, but good.
Okay, next question. Charles Wilson. 1974 was a great year.
I'll tell you why he said that, Nathaniel.
Okay.
Because so myself and Charles, in 1974, we were on the Archbishop Wood Vikings, and we won the Philadelphia Phillies Championship on December 14th, 1974. Almost 50 years ago. Very good year, Chief. Well done.
Okay, thanks. Hit the like button. Yes, guys, you are right. Please hit the like button to support me. If you don't want to like, just subscribe to me. I really need subscribers. I really need subscribers. I don't have too many. I'm trying to build this channel up. I'm trying to get 50 subscribers by the end of this year. 50 subscribers. If we hit that goal, I'll be really happy. Yeah, I usually do podcasts once a week, usually on Wednesdays, but since we had a surprise guest, John, I decided to do it on a Tuesday.
Hey, I just want to go back, and I'm thinking of Tim Grogan's Joe Scarpati is a great Eagle. The guy that I was thinking of was Steve Van Buren, a running back from 44 to 51.
He was the really old guy.
He was an old guy, but he was one of the best.
Was he the guy when it was supposed to get canceled and he was at his hotel room?
Yeah, the Eagles 49 championship game, a snowstorm, blanketed Philly, and he thought the game was going to be canceled, and they got a hold of him and said, no, we're playing. That was Tommy McDonald made a great catch in the end zone in that game. Not that I was there. But.
Charles Wilson, beast. Yes.
All right.
Who will be the next great Eagles special teams player since Vince Papale?
We already have him. It's Britton Covey.
Yeah, I know. He's the guy. You should have seen him in the preseason game. He shook off a bunch of tackles and went 27 yards.
I saw that play. Yeah. Britton Covey's the next Vince Papale.
He knows how to do it. We can hear you. Yes, I guess that's from the technical difficulties. No. Okay.
I guess I said
Ron Sampson. Yes.
How come I got to go down the question to see where you're at? Where are you? You're
No.
down here.
Deep state.
Yeah, the deep state got us, I think.
Okay, ready? You can. Okay, Trump. I can't.
We're a Trump-oriented podcast here, so.
Yeah.
MAGA, make America great again, please. Ivanhoe's killing me with these questions here. Ivanhoe, I don't think he has much to do tonight, and me and Nathaniel appreciate him weighing in like this. But Norm Van Brocklin, a great Eagle. Yeah, I don't count him because he came from the Redskins, I think. Played 1 or 2 years. They did win the championship with him as QB, but that's okay.
Okay, next question. Is there still a jail?
No, Ivanhoe, what happened was.
Are you worried that you're getting in jail? Do you go to jail every game?
So, Ivanhoe, what happened was when the vet was around, they needed a jail because it's a very rowdy environment, 700 level craziness. They built the link, and basically what they did is most of those 700 level people didn't up their season tickets, so that element kind of went away. So no, there's no jail in Lincoln.
Yeah, I think Ivanhoe was pretty scared. I think
Ivanhoe wouldn't show his face in the vet in the old days.
He's like, oh shoot.
Although I'll tell you what, Ivanhoe and I went to a Giants game. Well, I believe it was a Monday night, and I in my Eagles gear sat amongst Giant fans, openly rooting for the Eagles, and they actually won the game. I think it was 10-9 or something like that.
Okay, there we go. Okay, now I'm gonna get into the positions. I think we'll wrap this show up in about 10 minutes?
Yeah. We'll go over quick. Go ahead. I did the offensive line. You want to
talk about that? I don't think we really need to talk about Pickett unless Hurts gets injured or benched.
True.
Okay. This season, I think Hurts needs to work on staying in the pocket and trusting his offensive line. He needs to stick in there and not run out of the pocket and be like, no, who am I going to throw it off to? Let's just throw it away. No,
he needs to learn to step up in the pocket. And the Eagles need to work the middle of the field, which they don't do. But anyway.
Yeah. Okay, let's just do the questions really quick. Will Bill Belichick manage the Eagles next year? You know what? It really depends how Sirianni does, and I don't think he will.
Yeah, I think it's a great question. A lot of speculation, but no, I don't think he will either. I'll say this: if something happens to Sirianni, it'll be
Kellen Moore.
Kellen Moore will be the head coach.
Yeah. I'm betting the Giants take 2 from the Eagles. You know what? I'm not gonna answer.
What I'm gonna say to Ivanhoe is, take your $100. I'll match with 100 on that, and I'll take that bet.
There we go. A bet has been.
Right. So what do you need from me? D-line?
No, I'm gonna go my list, then I'm gonna give yours, or then you're gonna get yours. Okay, yeah. Running back Barkley, RB1. How much of an impact will Saquon make for the Eagles this season? I'm thinking Saquon. We did this question earlier.
Yeah, we're done with all the questions. Now you're just freewheeling on your position groups.
Do you think? Well, this is a question for you, John. Do you think Kenneth Gainwell and Will Shipley are going to make any impact on the Eagles running back?
Well, I like Shipley, to be honest with you. He's a rookie, though, so I don't know how much playing time he's going to get. But I keep hearing Kellen Moore likes to use 2 running backs and not just rely on
wide receivers
or featuring just one, featuring one running back. So he's going to probably – Kenny Gainwell is going to get, I think, a lot of playing time, but most of the time I'll go to Barkley.
Do you think this will affect Goddard's, how much he's going to get passed to?
Well, they got to utilize Goddard. If I was Kellen Moore, I think he's a good offensive mind. You got a great weapon that they didn't use at all last year, in my opinion. I'd find packages for him to get open all over the field, middle of the field. Yeah, I keep saying this. That's where the Eagles did not utilize last year. That's where tight ends are most effective, along the hash marks. So
last season, Kellen Moore worked as I think head coach of which team?
I think he was an offensive coordinator for the Chargers.
The Chargers, yeah, he worked with Gerald Everett. He was a tight end. I think they really utilized him that good. Because, to be honest, when I was going on fantasy football, he got a lot of fantasy points. So he was getting the ball. I hope that they do that with Goddard, because giving him those yards will be good for the team.
And what it does, too, is it opens up the field for Devontae and A.J. Brown to get downfield and make the big plays, Awkward silence.
I agree. Should the Eagles get a fullback?
Well, fullbacks don't have a position in the NFL anymore, so no.
Like Kyle Juszczyk, he's a fullback.
He's a package guy. There's a couple of packages they use, the 49ers use with him, and that's good, but it's not. The offenses these days are spread out. It's three wides or about 12 personnel, 2 tight ends, 1 running back. No.
Yeah. Do you think? I think we talked about this last season, not on the YouTube channel. 1 second. Not on the YouTube channel, but we talked about this. Do you think AJ Brown deserves his captain patch on the team? Do you really think he's one of the good leaders? I wouldn't believe so.
I don't think so. Like I said, defensive backs make quirky captains. Wide receivers make really quirky captains. They usually, it's the nature of the position. They're usually self-centered, individualistic. So, no.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I would say usually quarterbacks, centers, or quarterbacks and O-line are the guys.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, next topic. We'll go safeties because I have safeties.
Okay.
I think James Bradbury or Baldberry needs to leave the Eagles because I don't think he's made any impact.
He's a he's a safety now, right?
Yeah, I know. He wasn't good at quarterback, and I don't think he's a good safety either. We haven't seen much.
You know who I liked last year, and I know he was a rookie. I was gonna say he was a rookie, and Sidney Brown made a lot of big hits. He made mistakes, but he got hurt. He must be on the unable to perform list because he's not even on the roster right now. But I like him at safety. I think he could be, with a little more experience and coaching, he could become a really nice safety for the Eagles.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. I think Reed Blankenship, I think he's one of the safeties. I think he had trouble with last season. Or I noticed this during Christmas last year when the Eagles played the Giants at the Link, that he had problems with when the receiver got a bit past him, he thought it completely beat him. Like, I missed him. He can't keep up with him when that happens.
What do you think of CJGJ being back?
I think it's good. I think I think it's good that he's back. I think he'll impact the team in a good way. He's a leader, he's not clubhouse cancer, or he's not going to say bad things, do bad things.
I agree. I do agree. So,
okay, let me ask some questions to you. Or let me get something. What do you think about the Vic Fangio defense? I'm not a fan of it because all of their past defensive coordinators, Sean Desai, I think.
Yeah, Desai. How about the other guy? How about the other guy before him?
Patricia.
No.
Gannon.
Yeah, Super Bowl year. He took a lot of heat.
I don't think I like that offense because last season the Eagles used it, and that was one of the worst collapses in NFL history. I don't like it because they're like, oh, now we actually have Vic Fangio, but I don't think it was that big of a deal because I believe that is a failing type of offense or defense because what has it done to the Eagles? It gave them the biggest collapse in NFL history. That's what it has done. And they lost the Super Bowl because of that holding call, which I don't believe it's Gannon's fault, but that offense, that helped made them drive down the field. I'm not a fan of it.
I'll just say that one thing. I read this or heard this in the offseason when they hired Fangio. Fangio himself said he has never fully taught the intricacies of his defense to any of his disciples. Gannon, Desai, they have parts of it, but they don't have the whole thing. So now he's got the whole thing. It's Fangio's defense. We'll see. You can make all the faces you want.
So what? They have little parts with the Dolphins. Where did they go? They got destroyed by the Chiefs in the playoffs.
I guess they did. Yeah.
Terrible. The Eagles beat the Dolphins last season. They beat Fangio. If that defense was so good, why did the Eagles blow them out last season during prime time?
Hey, it happens. Hopefully
It
won't
happened.
happen today. Hopefully, hey, it's personnel, it's coaching, it's schemes.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. Hey, like I said at the beginning, the Eagles' offense is so potent. The defense shouldn't even be that important.
Exactly.
They should be scoring 30 to 35 points a game. Defense can give up 3 touchdowns and a field goal. Doesn't even matter.
Yeah. How do you feel about the Eagles playing? Well, you know that the season's going to become 18 games after the season really soon.
I think it's got to become 18 games. Why it doesn't is just nonsense at this point.
Charles. Yeah. Okay, let's get to comments really quick. Then let me finish my topic. Then let's do 5 more minutes.
Yeah,
Okay, great job.
We got to wrap it up here. It's past Booch's bedtime pretty soon.
Great job, guys. Thank you so much, Ivanhoe. I love your name, Ivanhoe.
Yeah, let's thank our guests that came in. Charlie Wilson, Tim Grogan, Ron Sampson, Ivanhoe Higgins, especially special appearance. Charlie Wilson, Mark Campanella. We appreciate you guys putting up with us tonight.
Trotter didn't come on.
Yeah, no Trotter.
Liar. Okay. Let me ask you some questions. Did you hear the Eagles might trade for Matthew Judon?
I didn't hear that. I heard Matthew Judon is available for trade. New England wants to trade him. They don't want to pay him. I don't think the Eagles are. I don't know. I don't think the Eagles are interested.
What positions do you think have some voids in them? I know you said linebacker. Is there anything else that needs to be filled before the start of the season?
Yeah, you also said a wide receiver 3 needs to be taken care of. John Ross, Britton Covey. Here, where's my depth chart? Here, listen to these names.
Really quickly before that, which team do you think will win the NFC East?
The NFC East. Well, no team has won it 2 years in a row for like 30 years. So.
Yeah, I know. It's always a toss-up.
It's got to be the Eagles, though. I don't see anybody else.
Did the Eagles win it last year or no?
Yeah, they did.
Barely, right?
Barely.
Okay. Okay, ready? You can read the depth chart then. I have two more.
I'm just looking at who they have at wide receiver. Britton Covey, John Ross, Jacob Harris, Griffin Herbert, Arius Smith. These guys are, I don't even know who these guys are. Nothing's there for them. Mm-hmm. Hey, but let me talk about the defensive line a little bit. Can I real quick?
Okay, yeah. But chat, anybody in the chat, please put in your last questions before the show ends. Any last questions? Anything?
So Charlie Wilson says Fangiology will come through. Trotter just join when it's over. He says Trotter will join when it's over. He probably will.
Holy, like what? And then I missed.
We all went to school together, me, Wilson, and Trotter, so we know each other. Trotter will join at midnight when we're off the air and wonder what happened. You got any more? Okay. Hey, we have to predict our records for the end of the season. What do you got?
Just about to say that. You know what? Anybody in the chat, please put your record. I think Ivanhoe said this question. What will the record be?
Oh,
Mark,
Campanella is saying
Mark.
Cowboys.
You know what? I'm gonna delete that, Mark.
Yeah, Mark, I thought you were signing off. What are you still doing on here? All right, Nathaniel, you want to give your
Yeah, guys in the chat, please say what you think the record will be. Then John will, or you know what?
Yeah.
John is gonna say. Booch will say right now.
Well, first of all, Charlie, you said 11-5. There's actually 17 games, so I guess the other one's a tie. I'm going to say 11-6.
You know what? I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna be that Eagle guy that's gonna say 16-1. I'm gonna say 12-4 or 12-5.
All right, you and Charlie Wilson think the same thing. All right. He upped his prediction.
Charles, you're a smart guy, unless you like the Cowboys.
I see Mark Campanel's making lunch. This could take hours. This man loves to eat. That's why he bought a pickup truck so he could bring his lunch to work.
Okay. Okay, guys. Thanks for chatting.
All right, guys. Thank you. So I'm at you're at 12-5. I'm at 11-6, and let's do this again sometime.
I love Tom Landry. Last
All right.
question.
Now we're getting sentimental here. Let's sign off quickly.
Okay, guys. Just remember, keep swinging. I'll see you on the next show. Bye.
Bye.
Wave.